scare Canelo and Oscar by either dropping him or just being a good Chavez that we haven't seen in a while. He looks thin. From the pictures I see, he looks like he's losing weight the way he should. If he does that, it's going to be a great fight.
What do you think about the height difference? I don't know if you've seen the picture, but he looks huge next to him.
No, I saw the height difference, but it's going to be the weight difference too, not just the height difference. And if he does the weight correctly, if he doesn't kill himself the last week, Chavez, and he has 12 rounds in him, he's going to scare Canelo a couple times.
Hey, but a lot of people feel that he's taking on Chavez Jr. to kind of measure up Gennady Golovkin. What do you say to the people that have that in mind, that that's kind of a measure you stick for Gennady Golovkin, Chavez Jr.?
You mean Canelo's taking that?
Yeah, Canelo's kind of measuring.
They're two different kind of fighters. I mean, Chavez is a heck of a lot bigger than Golovkin is. There's really no comparison, but it is a tough fight. In the sense that he's taking that kind of fight to measure himself as far as is he durable enough to go to 12 rounds with a big guy like that? Yeah, you could say that, but two totally different fighters.
How much does Nacho Beristain have a stake here? His reputation, I would assume, being that he's taking this fight. He's been critical of Chavez Jr. as well. He feels he has a lot of talent, but it's going to take a little more dedication.
You know, Nacho being in his corner is going to force Chavez to be a little more respectful of the people around him, of the trainers around him that are trying to do a job for him. It hasn't been the trainers, it's been Chavez has been the lackadaisical one. So with Nacho around, he'll take it a little more serious, and if he does, then we have a good fight on our hands.
Did it surprise you that he was willing to move up for Chavez Jr. and when the first negotiations came to Gennady Golovkin, he was asking him to move down? Did you surprise you?
No, I'm not surprised. This is a business. It's the same as we were going to fight Froch at 168. You know, when you're talking about 80,000 people in an arena compared to nothing, it's a business, and that's a good business move for Canelo. Tough business move for Canelo, but it's a good move.
Where does this fight along with the rich Mexican tradition in boxing? Where does it fall in Canelo Chavez Jr.?
I think that it's a fight more important for Mexico than it is for boxing, because it's going to give us a supremacy of who the middleweight or who the actual star is in Mexico. Not necessarily a middleweight, just a star. The guy that wins is going to be revered over there, so I think it's important for Mexican boxing.
What do you think about the bet, the winner takes all?
That's ridiculous. First of all, I don't think the commissions would allow that. You know, just like people betting on baseball, you shouldn't be able to do that, and I don't think that's going to come through. Maybe it was all just publicity and talk.
Considering you guys wanted the Canelo fight, right? Did it surprise you at all that Canelo decided to go the Chavez route?
No, it's a good business move. It's a good fight for themselves. When we were talking about fighting Froch, we're talking about fighting Froch at a different weight, only because we're going to put 90,000 people into Wembley. So no, it's a great move for Canelo. It's a great move for Chavez. Chavez hasn't really done much and looked good in the last 2 or 3 fights, but he's going to make a lot of money, and so is Canelo. And that's what this is about.
Can you speak to the 9.5-pound difference to the boxing fans that don't know from Canelo moving from 155 to 164.5? What's the pluses and the minuses of that?
There is obviously a plus because he wouldn't have to kill himself to make the 54-pound limit. The minus is that they didn't put a cap on what Chavez can weigh after the weigh-in. There's neither a cap on Canelo. The pluses is that Chavez will be a little bit slower and Canelo will be a little bit faster because he's a smaller guy. So there's a lot of good and bad about it, but the fact is that it's happening, and it's good for boxing. It's going to be I'm sure it's going to be a lot of pay-per-views, it's going to be a lot of people at the arena, and it's good for us.
Hey, but surely the winner moves on to be the best Mexican fighter at the moment. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Oh, maybe not technically, but the most revered and the most adored, the guy that's carrying our flag as Mexicans. Because I know it's going to be a great fight. Their style is just, this tells me it's going to be a great fight.
Hey, well, you got 168-pound fighter, David Benavidez in camp. You're fighting bigger opponents. Why is that?
It's a heck of a fighter. David is probably going to be world champion by the end of this year. He's a terrific fighter, terrific young man, and he's given us the kind of work that we need so that Gennady doesn't get complacent in the gym. Sometimes we don't have enough good work. It shows in a fight, and David's given us the kind of rounds that we need.
Well, What was the last discussion as it relates to Canelo in terms of making that fight? And since Triple G is 35 or 34, I forget.
He'll be 35 this coming April.
Do you feel a sense of urgency just to compromise and make that fight happen?
No, Canelo. If the fight happens, it happens. Okay. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. I think we've done enough, or he's done enough, to be satisfied with what he has done in his career. Obviously, it's a business, and if it happened, we're all going to make a lot of money. But if we don't, we're not going to. We're still doing okay.
Obviously.
Yeah, we're still doing okay, and he will have his records that he's trying to break, and hopefully he matches the great Bernard Hopkins' record of 20 defenses. If he doesn't, breaks it. I mean, that's really more. That's going to be remembered more than the millions he made.
Sure. You mentioned that. Who would you say has a better resume, Canelo or Triple G, in terms of opponents?
I would say Canelo has fought the more known opponents, but Canelo hasn't dominated his division like Triple G has.
Does he have a division?
Well, wait a minute. Has there been anybody ever in the history of boxing that has dominated a division like Golovkin is? And you can't tell me this is the only time in history that the division has been weak.
A ver, ¿cómo español? Un poquito, a ver, ¿cómo no? A ver, ¿cómo está de firme y de consumar y de...
Jacobs still had over 10 pounds to lose. Do you expect a big, bulky Jacobs to come in the ring against Golovkin that night?
He had 15 pounds to lose. And Golovkin, for the last 5 or 6 or 7 fights, he's weighed 64, 65. Gennady's a small middleweight. Now, we've been saying that for a long time. I expect I expect Andre to be smart enough to understand that he can't be real heavy because then he's going to be a little bit slower. The power's not going to be increased by him being 15, 20 pounds heavier. He needs to be sharp, he needs to be mobile, he needs to be alert inside the ring, and if he's too heavy, that might not help him.
Abel, do you have a prediction for Canelo
I think Canelo should win. Yeah, Canelo should win a decision. But I think that Julio will scare him a couple times and scare Oscar a couple times by hurting Canelo. But Canelo should win.
How aware is Triple G of Danny Jacobs' power?
I'm very aware of his power. I mean, he's got 13 or 14 knockouts in a row.
Good question.